there, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 9 of the Nova Scotia Kitchens podcast, Dave's Maple Curry Scallops and Bacon. In today's episode, I'm so happy to take you into Dave's kitchen with me. I've known Dave since high school, and as soon as he knew that I had a podcast, he was bursting with ideas for what he wanted to make. Dave loves to cook and entertain. He has a wealth of food experience from traveling the world for his work. I was so delighted that he offered to share a simple, decadent recipe that sounds like the perfect thing to make for a special occasion this holiday season. Sandra from the Sandra's Maple Beans episode back in the spring, which is a recipe that I have made several times since that visit, because it is a wonderful recipe. Oh my goodness, it's so good. She introduced me to Eamon's Double Smoked Bacon from Eamon's Meat Market on Main Street here in Yarmouth, and that features in Dave's recipe as well. In the audio, you'll also hear a bit from Dave's sweet family and a bit in the background of the roofers who were working on the house as well. The scallop recipe is one that Dave created. It's decadent, a perfect blend of salty, sweet, rich, and smoky. It is so good. This episode made me excited all over again about all of the excellent things that are produced here in this province, from scallops, bacon, maple syrup, wine, even amazing handcrafted knives. Dave is one of those friendly, welcoming people that I'm so glad exists in the world. He's also a painter, has occasional local shows of his work. This was such a simple way to make a handful of local ingredients into something greater than the sum of its parts, and I think you'll enjoy it as much as I did. Here we go. And some more specific
trimmed up my beard and cut my
the
hair.
And no pressure.
Put on something
no
nice.
Pressure. So then I post the podcast, and then on the website I have the pictures, and like if we talked about anything that's worth linking to, I put that in there, and the recipe so people can.
Yeah, it's an easy recipe.
So awesome! Tell me all about it.
Well, it's just scallops, and normally if they're large scallops, you'd sear them so they're just a bit raw in the middle, but have a nice crust on the outside.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my fortune today, so they're sort of mid-range, I'd say. And so you'll sear them in either butter or after you para-cook the bacon in bacon fat.
Yum.
So for the bacon, I use the double smoke from Eamon's.
Yeah.
And I get like a slab of it rather than getting it in strips.
Yes.
So you can cut it to the thickness you want.
Yes. This is the second time the double smoked bacon has come up. Sandra Finney and her beans recipe also calls for Eamon's.
It's a popular
so
item. His maple bacon I prefer, but it doesn't work as well. I suppose it probably would work in this recipe. You wouldn't have the smoke; you'd have the maple instead.
Yum.
I actually prefer the maple quite a bit. But anyway, so then you do the scallops, you sear them.
Yeah.
And you then add the bacon, so you kind of cut it into lardons if you want, which I like to do. Or you can do it in small strips. Works too. Anyway, the texture thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And then so after that, once it's almost ready, you add maple syrup and curry and let it caramelize. And it's yummy.
It sounds so good.
It is.
And so simple.
I haven't made it actually in a very long time. I used to make it every time I'd come home from work.
Yeah.
Because when you're gone, certain places, especially on boats, you just start hankering things that you can't have. You're at the mercy of the chef.
Yeah.
They can be hit and miss.
And I was going to ask you, because I know nothing about kind of your work except that you're out at sea for long periods of time. So and I was thinking about food.
Sometimes on land, but typically at sea.
So there's a chef.
Chef on board the vessel, depending on the size of the vessel, there'll be multiple chefs.
Yeah.
So I was on a cable ship. I don't even remember if it was this year or last year. It was this year. And so there was like a kitchen staff. There was two cooks. There were two cooks, and I think they had like 4 helpers, including a baker.
Oh, wow.
A guy who just baked.
Yeah.
So the thing with the bacon with this dish is everybody's got a different bacon preference in terms of fattiness. So, and in terms of the amount of bacon, it's kind of like a visual thing. Maybe a third the volume of the scallops for bacon. Anyway.
And where did you come up with this recipe? Like, is it one that you created?
Yes, it was just sort of a thing that I was craving bacon wrapped scallops, and I was lazy, and so I didn't feel like going through the motions of, those are maybe a bit big, of par cooking bacon and then wrapping scallops. Because when I do my bacon wraps, I always will par cook the bacon.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
then they overdose the scallops.
Overdose the scallops, and it's just kind of gross and it ruins it. So par cook the bacon. And so anyway, I was lazy one day. I wanted bacon wrapped scallops. Didn't want to bacon wrap them, and I had some bacon in the fridge that I had par cooked for a pizza.
Yeah.
And so basically, I just chucked it in the pan with the scallops. And actually fried them in with the bacon, which was good.
Yum.
It became a little overwhelming. It was rich. But,
yeah.
So anyway, I just fiddled around with the recipe for a while, and then the maple came along for some reason, and the curry, I have no idea, Sherry. Just,
so it's a creation of yours then?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm sure other people make it or make something similar to it. I can't be the only person making this. You know. Anyway.
Awesome. Oh, it sounds so good.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like scallops at all when I was younger.
Oh, really?
No, my older brother loved scallops, and my father loved scallops, and they were always kind of, not always around, but when they were around, I wasn't into them then. I wasn't into mussels then.
Yeah.
And just, now mussels and scallops are two of my favorite things.
Oh.
Especially scallops. And they're hard to find, you know, really good ones in a restaurant. They're always just sort of pan-fried, deep-fried, or baked.
Yeah.
And I like them raw a lot, too. Anyway, so here's our bacon.
Beautiful.
As you can see, it's very inconsistently cut.
Yep.
And that doesn't really matter.
Beautiful.
So yeah. Maria, they don't have to whisper.
No, hi. Hi. How are you?
Well, we had to come in and whisper.
No, they can come in. They can come in and have a sandwich and stuff. And his favorite type of sandwich. Tell Sherry.
It's a
Mustard and cheese.
oh,
Mustard and
nice.
cheese.
What kind of cheese?
He gets spoiled sometimes with the cheese.
Is there a certain kind that you really like?
I don't think he knows the difference. He likes old cheddar.
No,
Oh.
he doesn't like cheese slices. He prefers block cheese. Put on it.
Daddy, do we have that kind of block cheese?
Here, let's get.
You're in luck because Christmas cheese is out, and I've been buying a lot of cheese.
Oh, Daddy's cheese.
Yeah.
So I add a little more fat to this, Sherry,
Yes.
because the bacon was just so meaty. There's not a lot of fat coming out of it.
It's starting to smell amazing.
It's gonna get there, I think.
There, on my way into town, there was a frying pan in the middle of the road in Hebron, which Thomas was really delighted about. I thought that was pretty crazy. Not what you usually see in the middle of the road.
Not at all.
Oh, good.
So I guess you could add anything to the scallops, really, in terms of like curries or. So we'll just go with regular curry. Those are almost there. Now, I guess the thing too is you don't have to switch pans, which I don't think I'm actually going to do today. Well, yes, I will. So you could just throw the scallops right in with that,
Yeah.
you know, and just.
I'm getting it.
That's why it's
I'm
nice to
probably
have
gonna
large ones, because if you have large ones and you only have a few,
Yeah.
you can
Okay,
just
anyway.
leave them, you know, for about 2.5 or 3 minutes, and then flip them for about 2.5 or 3 minutes. But with a medium to small to large, we're just gonna do a lot of stirring.
We
So
have
what I
that
will
bacon.
do is right now. It might be a little warped, I think. Over time.
We make a lasagna, like a fresh
Oh, geez,
lasagna,
that's a good idea.
and it's deep enough to actually hold it. Oh, yeah.
You could do me a big favor,
Yes,
if
absolutely.
you don't mind. Can you
No.
take, get like 3 or 4 sheets of paper towel? Because
Yep.
I'm just gonna dump this bacon onto it. So I think that's enough fat in the bottom of the pan now.
Oh, yum.
Yeah, so that's sort of par cooked enough. It's just inconsistent. I'm not very good with consistent chopping.
I think it'll still be delicious.
And it's just not something I think to do to bother with trying to make it perfect. Let's be cooking at home.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Oh, I will. Yum. Yum.
It's good, huh?
It's so good.
Yeah. So I believe that double smoked bacon is from Well, Brothers, I think, smokes it. And Fred gets it from Brothers.
Oh.
I don't know if he does his own double smoked or he just does a single smoke and a maple.
Okay.
But either way, I used to buy a whole slab of it.
Yeah.
And once I bought a whole slab and put it in the oven, at like
Cool.
200, 225,
Yeah.
and just ran it like, it was good, but it kind of like ruined the consistency. It was
Yeah, yeah.
stringy and
Yeah.
almost like a jerky, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
bacon
yeah.
jerky, so it was
Yeah.
so tasty. Oh, and the other thing with the dish is the maple syrup that you choose to use.
Yeah.
You can, pick a light one or a dark one. Obviously,
Yeah.
the flavor will be. So I have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dark one, Hutchins maple syrup,
Oh, nice.
which is good.
Yes, I had some of theirs.
I bought it from a door-to-door syrup sales gal last year. She
That's
was doing a school
amazing.
fundraiser, and they had all these maple products
Yeah.
door-to-door, which I thought was neat.
I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, and I forgot that I'd ordered it, and then like 6 or 8 weeks later, she showed up here with 3 bottles of maple syrup, 3 jars of maple butter,
Yum.
and 3 something elses. I think it's spiced maple syrup.
Oh, yum.
Mm.
That's a good fundraiser. Like, I know there's a lot
Great
of better
fundraiser.
fundraisers that are happening now, like the food boxes, can't be Nourish,
This is
whatever it's
the other
called,
one.
Nourish something.
I don't remember.
I forget, but yeah, like that. And instead of, the junky wrapping paper.
Do you know what? I bought
stuff
3 bottles
you
of.
don't need.
I bought 3 bottles of this as well, and I've not opened one. So why don't you take one of those home too?
Oh, stop.
No, serious. I've got 2 more, and I haven't used it yet.
Oh, cinnamon nutmeg clove. Yeah.
So there you have it. Anyway,
Wow, where is this from?
here's a kid's
Like, I don't
friend TV
recognize
now.
the.
Yeah.
What's the brand name?
Oh, so this is from it's all from Hutchinson.
I think that one's from them as well.
Yeah, it is too.
So there
Yeah,
was
I don't
that.
recognize
There was
the
this
brand.
maple butter,
Wow.
which I actually thought about using in the
And
dish
oatmeal.
today.
Oh, you just made my life. This is my favorite. I made a gingerbread cake like last night.
Oh, yeah?
And cinnamon nutmeg cloves is like.
That'll do the trick.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I invite myself over.
You,
And
yeah,
then
you guys
I
should come
leave
for
without
dinner
a-
more often,
Yeah.
you know?
That would be super fun.
Because like the Canada Day thing, we do like the Canada Day thing, and usually
Yeah.
on New Year's Day, we do like a levy.
Yeah.
And so typically I'll do egg rolls, rapi pie, and a ham,
Nice.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
not quite a ham or a pork shoulder or a brisket or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And just people come and go and
Fun.
eat
Fun.
and listen to
I love
music
that.
and-
That's what food's all about.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all the people and sharing and
Mm-hmm.
all the loveliness.
So,
That's kind of why I want to do the podcast the way I do. Like, not because I can invite myself over and say, feed me really good food.
it's a good gig.
Although,
You did it 5 days a week. You never have to buy lunch.
Definite
that would be amazing. But I don't know. I think everybody recognizes, like, how, not everybody, a lot of people recognize how important food is. And this is just one way to kind of share that, even if you can't actually be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I oftentimes crowd my pan. It's not intentional. I just, so I still have to have the bacon. But you can see what I mean by the size of the scallops, how they're kind of like on their sides and everything.
Yeah.
And if you get the I like ones that are like the size of a marshmallow or larger.
Yeah.
So when you make the dish that way, like 3 scallops is enough.
Yeah. Oh, they're so rich.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to do something I haven't done with this dish before. You're going to be my guinea pig.
This is so exciting.
And so I hope you're not worried about your cholesterol today.
No. Nor have I ever been.
Because I am going to add my favorite fat,
Oh.
goose fat.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So we have
Can I smell it?
we've got
I've never
the
used it.
ocean and birds
Oh, I love
and
it.
pigs.
Everybody's represented. Alright, I'll totally.
It's neutralish in
Neutral,
smell,
yeah.
but it creates
It's super rich.
super rich, very deep crispiness you can get on things.
Nice. And that's
So-
easy, so you just get it at the superstore.
Yeah,
I
it's like
haven't seen it.
$6 a jar.
Nice.
So about once in a while, my favorite thing to do with it is to make potatoes.
Oh, yes.
Roast them for like 2.5 hours, baked potatoes with
Oh.
goose fat.
Yeah. What else do you put on them?
Oh, I use Old Bay a lot, Old Bay seasoning.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
recently discovered
So
this,
good.
which is
Oh.
absolutely mind-blowing.
I've
And it's
never
from
seen it.
Halifax. Sobeys has it.
Oh,
It's
Trademan's
it's a
Fast
little
Spice.
basket on the floor by the seafood section.
Sugar, salt, basil, garlic, plus 6 more herbs and spices.
Dab your finger in that and tell me what you think.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
It's meant for pasta sauce.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can really use it in a lot of different things.
Oh, it's pretty.
And I wanted to putting it in stuffing.
Oh, and I see there's some like chili pepper. Oh, yum! That smells so good.
It's super good.
I think there's something savory in there.
And that has to be. So it'd be good for stuffing, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
lick your finger and give it a try. Won't bother me.
What is that?
It's the seasoning from Stogies.
That's so good.
I
that
haven't
is so
cooked-
good.
I guess you haven't tried it yet.
That would be good on anything.
Yeah, well, that's what I was
Like-
thinking. And it's not
Any-
overly expensive, so it's.
I'm totally gonna pick that up. The Halifax Spice Company. I've never heard
I've
of
never
it.
even. I hadn't heard of the Halifax Spice Company,
Yeah.
so.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Well, if you want to do pictures and plugs, plug these knives.
Oh,
They're made in Nova
yeah.
Scotia. They're
Oh, are they from
called
Pictou?
Iron Gull. No, those are the Gromans. So this fella, I believe his name is Jeremy. In fact, I can tell you exactly what his name is because I have him on Instagram.
Oh, they're beautiful. I know.
They're 100% custom made. Everything about the knife you can choose, from the wood to make the
Yeah.
handle, or he does like a polymer handle, or fiberglass, to the type of steel, whether you want a carbon steel, or they're all carbon steel, I guess, but the finish of them. So yeah, his name is Jeremy Hawken,
Huh.
Prospect Village. So he's Iron Gull knives, gull like a seagull. But they're gorgeous knives, and they're razor sharp.
Okay, I'm totally. This is so delicious. Okay, gorgeous knives, razor sharp. Oh, and I love the little logo.
Yeah, so he's Iron Gull.
Yeah.
And they're all custom made. In fact, so that's my, I don't know the name of it, they use this Japanese terminology. So that's my meat knife, and then that's my vegetable knife up there.
They're beautiful.
So I'm going to have him make me a paring knife, I think.
Oh, nice.
But I do have Groma knives, and I like them quite a bit. In fact,
Yeah.
my mom for a few years was like giving me different ones for Christmas.
Yeah.
So a bit of carving. Oh, here's the other thing with this dish.
Yeah.
I don't dump the bacon in until I flip the scallops,
Okay.
which are pretty unevenly seared at the moment. But that's okay. So this is the other thing with the dish too. You don't have to have like the perfect seared scallop thing going on,
Yeah.
and they can be cooked to your own liking and whatever. But these are super fresh, like they're Sobeys fresh, and the one nice thing with getting seafood at Sobeys is you can ask them to sort of get you a bag from out back.
Ah.
You don't have to buy the stuff that's on the trays.
Yeah.
So that's like the beauty with Eamons, and I tell people about this with
Yeah.
Eamons all the time. So someone had said to me not long ago, I went into Eamons and I was going to get a ribeye, but there was nothing in the showcase I wanted, so I got a strip line. I said, well, you can
Yeah.
ask them to cut you something. So these are going to go in.
Oh, so flip the scallop, then the bacon.
Yeah, chop the bacon in, don't burn your fingers. I was going to get green onion, but I thought I don't want to frig with it too much,
Yeah.
Help yourself to these mushrooms, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
They're really good, actually.
This is a nice. I'm excited that I'm going to post this in November because it seems like a nice festive, have company kind of
It is.
little thing to have.
It is,
So I
and-
think
and-
people are looking for those kind of recipes this time of year.
But so just imagine this. So
Yeah, thank you.
if you had scallops this big, and you have on a plate 2 or 3 of them, and then once you plate the scallops, you take the bacon and the sauce and just kind of like
Yeah.
put it around.
Yeah.
Versus if you buy the smaller ones, because also if you have a big crowd, it's more affordable to often buy,
Mhm.
and you can use the pre-frozen ones, honestly.
Yep.
If you're into a volume of them, which I did once at the holidays at my mother's place, was
Yeah.
my stepbrother was down, his fiance from Montreal was down, she loves seafood, and
Yeah.
so I made this, but I made like a vat of it,
Oh wow.
and it was,
Yeah. Nobody complained.
no, it's good. We had mussels and scallops and the fetal lobster, and something else, I think. So once you get the bacon in there and it's sizzling well,
Yeah.
I like to add the curry, and I like to keep it moving. And again, the other idea I had today was to use a Thai green curry.
Oh, yeah.
And I got some evaporated coconut milk.
Yeah.
So there's variations for sure, but I think I'm going to do the Thai green curry and the coconut milk on mussels.
Oh.
Because I've had that in a restaurant before and it's super good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So we're just going to let that do its thing a bit.
Yeah. It smells and looks delightful.
It's getting there, I think. And the thing with the maple syrup too is so you don't want it to burn because it'll burn.
Yeah.
And that's like the tragedy that can happen with this dish. Is you add maple syrup and you forget for a minute and you leave for a minute or it's too hot.
Yeah.
It's ruined once the maple syrup burns.
This is good to know. And so how much curry and how much maple syrup
Like sprinkly-shaky across the pan.
Okay. That's good enough for me.
With the maple syrup, I'll do like the outside, inside twirly thing.
Yeah.
But it's the taste, right?
Yeah.
So my measurements. Well, I'll show you a recipe so I've been keeping track of what I've been making because I don't use.
Oh, fun.
And so here's my volumes for my short rib marinade. So the base is soy sauce. You want like the most. So a bit of Pepsi, a bit of honey.
You're very technical measurements.
Some barbecue seasoning, a bit to some sriracha, some to a lot of ginger, some to a lot of garlic, a whole onion, a titter of Chinese five spice.
What is a titter?
A titter, just a tiny bit, you know?
Different from like a dash.
A bit of hoisin and a bit of oyster.
That's
well, that was
smart.
like my grandmother's recipes. She was Lebanese on my dad's side.
Yeah.
And it would say, a handful of a bit, a punch or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you go in that regard, it's proportional to the size of your hand, really.
Yeah.
I mean, no two people will ever make the same recipe taste the same way.
Yeah.
Between your stove, your cookware, your own touch, it just doesn't
never
happen.
Exactly.
I wish I had more of a sear on the scallops, but they're going to be fine. Don't panic.
I am not panicking.
So I've turned that one down, and so I will add the maple syrup now.
Okay.
So kind of enough to make sure that everybody's getting attention.
Okay.
And there's only that much left, so I might as well dump it in. Okay?
Yum.
That was probably too much. Thought that may be a theme around here.
Go big or go home.
Oh, so in terms of making this dish, you want to reduce the heat
Oh, yes.
by like 2 notches.
And what temperature do you do your
Okay, so
scallops on?
Okay, so the bacon, I'll do the bacon on like 7.
Yeah.
And take it off when I think it's about 3/4 done.
Okay.
And then dump some of the fat into the pan for the scallops. The rest of the bacon is dumped on a paper towel. So then I'll heat the bacon fat in my new pan to about 6 to 6.5 and start the scallops on one side. Then reduce it by like 1 and flip them and add the bacon. And then about 3 or 4 minutes later add the curry. Once you get more fat rendering out of the bacon, And then so I reduced it to about 4, I reduced it to 2 and added the maple syrup.
Okay.
And I just turned it up to 4 so you want it to bubble a little bit.
Without burning, because
and you'll watch it thicken up. So like that's a runny maple syrup.
Yeah.
And you'll watch it thicken up a bit. And
Yum.
And then at the very end you'll crank it. You'll crank it to caramelize everything.
Okay.
So like right now it's a decent consistency.
It smells so good.
It's not too liquidy. I'll use a little more curry. This is old curry, not really that. You obviously must not mind curry.
No, I don't mind anything else.
Oh, and pepper. You have to add pepper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just black pepper.
Yeah, fresh cracked. Maria bought me this pepper mill for Christmas one year.
Beautiful.
And I thought, it seemed like an obvious gift under the tree because it was in a cylinder, and I was like, oh, she bought me a bottle of scotch. Awesome, right? I hope it's a decent one. And I opened it as a mill, and I was happy because I didn't have a pepper mill, but I already had scotch.
He's banned from electric grinders, pepper mills.
My
Was
mom
there an
bought
incident?
one.
No, he just stands there. Ring.
The incident is she gets bothered by the sound.
It stands there for like 5 minutes. So he has to use a manual one.
It became a comedy. I think did mom have one first or Roger?
Yes, she did.
So we had Christmas dinner at my mother's house, and I don't know, there was 10 of us or something. And so you can imagine everybody with this electric pepper grinder.
Going around the table.
It becomes funny.
Yeah.
It becomes funny yet annoying.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna taste
That
this
one looks
again.
lovely though.
Yeah, that's proper right there. So now I'm going to spank the temperature,
Okay.
and we're going to get ready.
That's
And those
pretty
are
cool.
from Michael and Francis
I can
Morris.
tell. They're
Yeah,
beautiful.
I love their pottery.
They're so nice.
Ways down the way.
So
Down the road.
I guess with this, and I should have bought green onion, maybe like chives perhaps, to like
Yeah.
garnish it, or
Yeah, yeah.
parsley would probably be good.
Yeah.
But it's not supposed to be complicated. It's,
Yeah.
it's very
Just
straightforward.
simple, straightforward.
Yeah, as much as I've rambled on, it's very straightforward.
It's totally fine.
So you'll notice towards the end, it'll really start to darken up.
Okay.
And you're just looking for the consistency, and I don't know how to explain
Alright.
it. So you know the consistency of like,
Yep. When you're making jam, it's a similar.
I don't make jam. And you see it
Similar thing,
bubbling, so it's starting to, and it gets a bit sticky to the pan,
Yeah. Perfect.
and we're getting there. I wish I had something green to decorate with. Sprinkles.
A few little cake sprinkles on top.
The thing is with the sauce is you want the sauce to be thick enough that it'll coat well.
Right.
So I guess that's the other test you could do. It's like roll a scallop bread, but you don't want to overcook the scallops.
Right.
That's the balance here. But we're almost
Fine
there.
line.
Yeah,
Fine
we're
line.
almost there.
It smells so good.
Now, you want some more water, or do you want like a glass of wine or a beer, or?
Do you have some wine open? Like
I was just gonna open a bottle actually.
I mean,
No, I was gonna open a bottle. Oh, and then I have this would be perfect with it. Okay. So I'm gonna remove that from the heat. Oh, that's some wine glasses.
this is like, I feel like royalty.
So that wine's from Lightfoot and Wolfville.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pour the wine first.
Yeah, I will just have a little
Sure.
tiny taste, please.
Just say when.
Perfect.
Okay. And I will have a large glass.
It is so fizzy and pretty.
It's delicious. It's so good.
Put the sediment in the bottom.
Yeah, I'm gonna start saving the sediment from like weird beers and bottle fermented wines, and do sourdough bread with it.
Oh,
Oh.
there you go.
And you'll never make the same loaf of bread twice, but.
Yeah.
So first we'll put some scallops.
Decadent is the word that comes to mind.
God, this is friggin' heavy. I feel like my grandmother when I hold these pans, because my arm gets it's so heavy and my arm gets shaky. And then I think like, how tough was she when she was like 80?
Doing wrangling
She
the
could
cast
hold the
iron.
pan like that longer than I could without shaking her arm. Anyway.
Oh my word. It's so beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. How about a picture of the random sandwich?
The best.
Peanut butter, jam, and bologna.
Thanks so much to Dave and Maria for welcoming me into their kitchen. Links to the things we chatted about are at novascotiakitchens.com. Thanks to Julian Smith for the show's music. Thanks to Adam Graham for technical help and for generally being awesome. And of course, thanks to all of you for listening. You can connect with me on Instagram at Nova Scotia Kitchens or over on the Facebook page. I'll be back with the last episode of the season in December.